Lisa LaBelle, everyone.
Hello, world. Welcome to the L4 podcast. I am your host, Lisa LaBelle, the technology comedian. This is the very first episode of the L4 podcast. I recorded another one with a guest, which will be coming out soon, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited about everything. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of great things happening. A lot of wild things going on in the world right now. Like, did you guys see? Okay, this blew my mind. I have been following Brett Adcock, Adcock. He is the founder of Figure One Robotics, and I have been following this company for a while. So I have notes from March 3rd, 2024. Figure One, it was, and not saying that at that time, this is when I was doing my research. So Figure One was funded being a less than 2-year-old company. Yeah, $675 million. What a great, like, how do you walk into a boardroom and you're like, hey, my company is less than 2 years old. I would like $675 million. That's what I need to get the job done. And they're like, hey, can you show us one of your humanoids? Like, I don't have one of those because my company's less than 2 years old and I need the money from you guys to do that. It's just, I mean, I know that's not how boardrooms work and networking and this and that. I'm just saying it blew my mind that this company was less than 2 years old, got $675 million funding from allegedly Sam Altman of OpenAI. This was a fund was started, actually. I think Sam Altman, there's word on the street. I believe Bezos was involved, maybe Bill Gates, possibly Peter Thiel, if I'm pronouncing that right. And it was a VC funding group that included them and more. I'm not sure who the other names were, but so they funded Figure One. And I've been following Brett Adcock and they are making leaps and bounds. His humanoid figure is in BMW. I believe that South Carolina was the first BMW factory that they put their humanoids in, and they are just leaps and bounds. The thing is, Brett Adcock recently announced that they were dropping OpenAI. The original plan was to put ChatGPT or OpenAI's software into their humanoid. DeepSeek R1 came out. I don't know if this is a coincidence, but DeepSeek R1 came out. And then Brett was like, hey, we're making an announcement. We're going to drop OpenAI. We can do this in-house. And now today, I saw a video pop up of their new Figure One, their new system, Helix, their new AI system that they integrated into their humanoid. It is incredible. I'm gonna put this video up on the screen for everyone watching, but wow, I'm watching this now for the first time. I watched the first half of it. It's mind blowing. So it's, for those of you listening, there's two humanoids, two figures, and there's a guy. He's taking things out of a grocery bag. The humanoids are in a kitchen setup. So there's a countertop, and then there's a refrigerator next to one of the humanoids. And there is a tray next to the other humanoids. So the humanoids have to identify the items and put them into the correct place. And by the way, while they are picking up a bag of noodles, spaghetti. This blows my mind. Their sensor, they're not crushing them. I think people take for granted the human hand. When you start looking into how the human hand is engineered, how to engineer a human hand for a robot. The complexities of the human hand is just mind-blowing. And so when you think about making a humanoid, you're like, they have to apply a certain amount of pressure. Like humans, we know how much pressure to apply. It's just intuitive. I'm going to pick up this bag of spaghetti. I'm not going to crush it. I'm going to use this much pressure. We don't think about any of that. It just happens. And just like say a doorknob versus a door handle, you turn the knob, you push the handle down or up. Bear with me, guys. My cat, I hear him. He is just tearing into a bag of something right now. So bear with me. I'm going to make sure he's not choking on anything. Okay, we're back. My cat was he was not choking on anything, but he did find a plastic crunchy bag that was a part of a plastic packaging on some of my podcast gear, and he's just tearing into that. They love that crunchy stuff. Okay, so I'm back. I was talking about the complexities of the human hand, and when you start trying to engineer it into a humanoid robot, it's incredible. So back to this figure one video, the humanoids in this video, they're picking things up with perfect precision. They're not crushing anything. And also when one of the humanoids hands the other humanoid a bag to put into the refrigerator, they look at each other. Why? I mean, it's like so cute because it's very human, but it's like, why are they looking at each other? It's like, are they sentient already? I know, I don't think they are, but I love it. I'm excited. I'm excited for everything that's happening in this space. And again, it's the AI that Brett Addict's company Figure One is using is called Helix, and incredible. So I'm gonna put that video up so you guys can see it. Otherwise, anyone who's listening, go on over to Brett Addict's, it's LinkedIn or X, and take a look. It's pretty amazing. It really is. There's a lot of amazing things going on. There's on another note, I just learned, okay, I am doing some research on the Van Allen belts. The Van Allen belts. Okay. There's, for those of you who don't know, there's the Van Allen belts it's 2 layers of charged particles, mostly protons and electrons, that surround the Earth. So they're held in place by the Earth's magnetic field. And they essentially protect the Earth. They're Earth's protection. And it's sort of, if you look at it from above, it looks like a bow tie. It looks like a bow tie. The particles spiral around the magnetic field in this bow tie pattern, and they go around the magnetic field lines, and they bounce back and forth between the poles. It's mostly concentrated at the poles. So that's what the Van Allen belts are. Now, astronauts have to go through the Van Allen belts to get on up there into space, and that is a lot of exposure to space radiation. There were two presidents that detonated atomic bombs into the Van Allen belts. I'm not sure what the reasoning was for that. I think one of them was trying to mitigate the space radiation, or that the astronauts had to go through. I don't know. JFK, he was the first. He by the end of this century, we will detonate an atomic bomb into the Van Allen belts called Operation Fishbowl. Operation Fishbowl. That is original. They're like, by the time we're done detonating an atomic bomb up there, we might all be dead fishes. I don't know why it was called that. And then Dwight D. Eisenhower in the 50s, he detonated an atomic bomb up there called Operation Argus. That's a less exciting name. But I mean, isn't that, I'm pulling some information up here about it. It just sort of blows my mind. John F. Kennedy, the event took place in 1969. It involved detonating a 1.4 megaton nuclear bomb in space above the Pacific Ocean to study the effects of nuclear explosions on the Earth's magnetic sphere. The explosion caused a significant electromagnetic pulse, an EMP, and had effects on satellites in orbit, leading to reevaluation of nuclear tests in space. I'd say so. I don't know why they didn't look at the one that Dwight D. Eisenhower did in 1958, which it was a series of tests involved detonating atomic bombs in the upper atmosphere to study the effects of radiation on the Earth's magnetic field. It was also believed that these tests could help mitigate radiation exposure for future space missions, particularly astronauts going into Earth's orbit. Okay, so I was sort of on the right track there before when I said I thought that's what it was for. That is wild. That is let's just detonate an atomic bomb. And then Eisenhower did it, and they're like, this is bad. This is not great. And then JFK's like, let's do it again. Do it again, boy. Come on. Get those atomic bombs up there. Take those satellites out. Do it. Crazy. Just wild. That's one of those things, though, in 100 years from now, people are going to be looking back at our presidents and being like, what happened? What? I mean, there's so much that happened that I know people are just going to be blown away that we did things that we did. I mean, it's almost like we're living, I mean, it's pretty wild. There's a author named Franz Kafka. He's an old author, but he wrote some fiction about, it might have been Orwellian. It might, like maybe 1984-ish, very dystopic. And when I read about some things in the world, I think, man, that is straight out of a Kafka novel. This is pretty wild. Moving on, guys. I want to give a shout out to two female comedians. I'm going to uplift and support here because we need it. When a comedian wins, we all win. We have to support each other. We have to support our fellow comedians, okay? And I want to give a shout out here. Fiona Cauley, Cauley. I'm sorry if I butchered that last name. Not the best at that, but I try. I do. She is killing it. I saw some clips of her on Kill Tony, and she is just she seems like the sweetest person and freaking hilarious. I just love that. Another shout out to Celia Contreras. She is hilarious. I mean, I literally laughed out loud on some of her clips. She was also on Kill Tony, and Tony recognizes both of their geniuses, and I mean, she's great. And she did a roast that I saw on YouTube, and just genius. I mean, impeccable timing. I don't know if she writes her I don't know, but the way her mind is programmed, her chain of thought is fascinating. Go take a look. Go follow Celia and Fiona. These ladies are killing it out there. They are a pure stand-up comedian. I learned the other day too, the Goonies guy. Okay, I've never seen that. I never saw that movie. I think that was before my time. I know a famous line from there, the truffle shuffle. Do it, the truffle shuffle. Do it. Okay, the Asian guy. Ki Hoi Kwan. He has a new movie out called Love Hurts, and man, I gotta give a shout out to this guy. He's killing it out there too. I think he's in his 50s at this point. And I learned that he is a black belt in Taekwondo. That's hard to do. That is really hard to do. That's amazing. That's gotta be hard. Yeah, that's so cool. Oh, how about there is fungus growing in Chernobyl? What? It is feeding off the radiation at Chernobyl. This fungus is that. And then I was thinking, wow, it's cold there. Can this fungus grow in space? But the fungus, it does need oxygen to grow. So if you hear that in the background, that is my cat. He is an elder cat, and he's pretty with it. He's pretty with it. He's doing pretty good. He's doing pretty good. He wants to be let out of this room to go eat more food. I don't blame him. I want to go eat more food too. So bear with me, folks. I'm just going to let him out so he doesn't keep meowing and so he can go live a happy life, strapping on the feed bag. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back for the second time because of my cat. So yeah, we can drop the fungus at Chernobyl. I just thought it was interesting how there is an organism. It's not anaerobic, but it is feeding off the radiation. That's pretty wild. That is wild. There is I'm going to go back to the robotics. The Chinese Spring Dance Festival Gala. This happened a few weeks ago. Unitree Robotics. They unveiled their latest humanoid robot, the H1 Fuxi, Fuxi. In a captivating performance, 16 of these robots dressed in floral cotton jackets performed a synchronized Yangi dance, a traditional Chinese folk dance, alongside human dancers from the Xinjiang Arts University. I'm sorry if I butchered all those names. But folks, if you haven't seen this and you are interested in the development of humanoids, I'm sure if you're interested in that, you know about Unitree, and these robots are making leaps and bounds. I mean, this performance was pretty incredible. It would never happen in the United States. Are you kidding? I mean, I do respect the dance, the art of dance, but could you imagine if Brett Addict was like, hey, or there's 1X Technologies Neo, the humanoid Neo, or Optimus, like, hey, we're gonna have these humanoids be in your ballet dance. Okay, that's cool, right? And they'll be like, no, because that's not where they belong in the traditional. I mean, it just would never happen here. There's too many people would be just up in arms about it. I think it's cool. I like the integration of technology and art, especially with dance and and other forms of art. But China is seeming to really leap ahead of us, and it seems like because they don't have so much red tape. Historically here in the United States of America, there's just been so much red tape to get anything done, and it's ridiculous and out of control, and we cannot get ahead. We can't get ahead like that. You have to let people engineer things. You have to let people create things, and we can't be like the Vogons from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I mean, hello. I would like to better our infrastructure. Oh, hang on. You have to fill out 1,800,000 forms. So you fill out 800 forms to make a city a smart city, to outfit a city to be a smart city. And then you go and you give those forms in, and you're like, okay, great. I can start making our infrastructure better. And then you hear back from the Vogons, and they're like, hey, you filled out all the forms, but it needed to be on the blue form and not the pink form. That's how America is running right now with, you name it. You have construction, infrastructure, space. I mean, just food, pharmaceuticals. I mean, there is a certain point, there is a place for it, but not so much that it's like we had to hire 1 million more people just to be the middlemen. There's like a gazillion middlemen, and we're paying all these people when there really should only be 2 people doing the daggone job. 2 people reviewing, like, oh, this has to go through 20 people to get reviewed. So it's not going to happen for 5 years. How are we supposed to get ahead? How are we supposed to get ahead like that? China doesn't, they just get it done. Come on. Not about that regulation. I mean, it's good in some areas and just super bad, I think, in most areas. It just really puts a kibosh on getting anywhere, on moving ahead with anything. It puts a kibosh on creativity. It puts a halt on engineering and all of those things. It's just wild. It's like you think about some NASA missions, and how long do those take? How long do those take to get qualified? I mean, I can't even imagine. And then by the time things get qualified, they're outdated and you have to use new technology for it. And then you have to get that qualified. It's just like Groundhog's Day. It's wild. What else is going on in the world? What else is going on? Let's see. Bear with me here. I learned something new about Norm Macdonald. From my understanding, Judd Apatow is making a movie, I believe, about him. I think he's the one spearheading it. It's either a documentary. And so I was doing a little bit of reading on Norm, and he's not my favorite comedian, but gosh, he is hilarious. His timing is impeccable. His delivery is amazing. I mean, it is amazing. Every day I work on my timing and my delivery in my stand-up comedy, and it's a hard thing to do. It's the game of repetition. And but Norm, he seemed to just sort of have it right off the bat. And of course he bombed. I've heard of stories where people have been in a comedy club when Norm was performing and he just completely bombed. But that's what happens. And it doesn't mean you're not a good comedian. Obviously, look at Norm. He is hilarious. One thing that I am inspired by with Norm is when he would say something and the audience would get a little bit uncomfortable, he would double down on it. There's this group of comedians out there, and I am a part of it, that we have that's our instinct. It's like we have a plutonium-238 pellet just decaying in our brains, and it fuels this need to double down on the thing that makes the audience, it gives a little tension when you're saying a joke, when you're doing a bit, and you feel that tension from the audience. You're feeling a little they're a little uncomfortable. You just gotta lean into it and you commit to that bit. And it's I don't know what it that's what happens. I don't know what it is. But that's what Norm was the best at. And I try to remember that on the sets when I have a bad set. I remember I'm just like, I remember that, and it helps me get through it, and it helps make the set better. It can turn around if you just double down on it, man. It's the best. But Norm Macdonald, he almost didn't become a comedian. I heard a story that Tom Green was saying recently on Theo Von's podcast that Norm Macdonald, I guess his first set was at this place in Canada. Might have been Manitoba, maybe not, but it was in Canada, which is where Norm is from. A comedy club called Yuck Yucks, and Howard Wegman, I think it was it. Yeah, Wegman was the club owner. And still is or was, but he was at that time. And Norm came in, did a set. Norm was in his early 20s, and then Norm felt so bad about it. He left, and he was never to return to comedy again. That was it. And Howard ran after Norm and said, "You have got to come back." He saw something in Norm. So if there's anyone out there who, I think we have to do this more. We look for the people. If you are in a position, look for that talent. And if you see that talent, go after it. Go after it. Encourage these people. If you're in a place to do that, if you're in a place to make things happen for them or give them an opportunity, and do it. Just encourage them. We need more of that in this world. We really do, especially since a lot of things are out of office. People don't go into the office anymore. That's why it's so important, I think, to be face-to-face and I enjoyed going into work when I worked, remote work. That face-to-face is just magical. It's important. And people see you, and people will recognize your abilities that way, but it's very hard to do remotely. It just roboticizes everything. It automates everything. It's almost, and then people complain like, "Oh, robots are going to take over." Well, you're kind of acting like one. You don't want to go, and you want everything remote. You don't want to show your face anywhere. So yeah, robots will take over. You act like one. It's going to happen, man. Act like a human. Being a human is beautiful. And I just love people. I'm being an advocate for humanity right now. Get out there and look someone in the eyeball and say something nice, okay? And if you recognize talent, encourage these people, encourage them. And you know what? If you're not in a place to give someone an opportunity, that's fine too. But say something nice about someone, uplift people. And I go back to when I see comedians out there, the ones that are really focused, and it's few and far between the ones that I have come across, but the comedians that are super focused, they're so good. It's like, I tell them, I'm like, that's amazing. Keep going. It's, it could be hard being a comedian. I absolutely love it. I know that comedians love it too, but it's a roller coaster with you bomb, you don't bomb, you bomb, you don't bomb. It's this content's good. This content's not good. This is good. It goes around and around. So we have to encourage everybody, and I'm just sort of going in a loop right now, but just get out there and encourage everybody and be nice. And the focused comedians I admire so much. I see such a bright future for all of us, and when they're winning, we're all winning. Hallelujah. Okay, I think I'm gonna wrap it up with that. Let's see. I think I'll wrap. You know what? I'm gonna wrap it up on something else. There is. Oh yes. This is super fun. This is super spicy. is Jack Dorsey Satoshi Nakamoto. I didn't say that right. Nakamoto. Is he the original crypto person? I don't know. There's a bit of a conspiracy. That's kind of been out. That is going around. That is circulating right now. The question, because he got involved in crypto back in 2001, I do believe. So it's interesting. I don't know anything about crypto. I tried learning about it. And the more I learned about it, the more I realized I don't know anything about it. I want to invest in it, and I went on a few platforms, looked around a little bit. I'm just sticking to my little E-Trade, little quantum computing, little stocks right now. And I'm going to stick to that right now. I got some $12 quantum computing stocks. Yes. So they're doing quite well. That's what's happening right now. And anyway, so whoever wants to comment about crypto, please feel free. Feel free. If you've heard this rumor, this little conspiracy theory circulating around, excuse me, I have a little bit of a little glitch. I call it. I like to call it stutter. Really, that's what it's called. I call it glitching. It's not real bad, but it's a little bad. So just bear with me if you hear me do that. That's my mind is just sort of like on a glitching, and then I pull myself out of it. It's okay. If you want a good pick me up, I just saw this came across. I'm not sure why this came across, because I don't eat at this place. I've eaten at Zaxby's, but this popped up. I was looking for a restaurant in Atlanta, and for some reason this popped up. And Zaxby's, go read the comments, the reviews on Zaxby's. I mean, this dude, 5 stars. We enjoyed our lunch here today. The food was excellent and the service was good. The only bummer was that the freestyle pop machine was broken, so we had to ask for refills and could not get special selections. We had 2 of the sensational salads with the Asian flair and a couple of the 4-piece chicken finger plates. We liked the Zaxby sauce and the food was fresh and hot. This is a good option for lunch. Dude, this dude is living the freaking life. I gotta tell you, just out there enjoying a good lunch at Zaxby's. I admire that so much. I mean, who cares? Cholesterol, that's not on his mind. Who freaking cares about sodium, high blood pressure? Pff, get out of here. Triglycerides? Get the glucose monitor? No, this guy, he's not thinking about his glucose. Come on, get out of here. Just go enjoy a nice meal at Zaxby's, man. That's admirable. It's like the guy you see on an airplane who just sits back, kicks off his shoes, and pops open a Mountain Dew and has his hand in a bag of Doritos. He don't give a crap, man. He's just living the life. That is admirable. I am a full-blown germaphobe. And a bit of, hey, those Doritos have a dye in it that is banned in Europe, and also it turns your insides translucent. Apparently, it turns tissue translucent. Like they gave the dye to mice and they turned translucent. And you can all look that up, but I think that's a real thing with the Dorito dye. Anyway, this dude, that's what I think about when I see a bag of freaking Dorito and the Mountain Dew. Oh my God, this guy's just like whatever. He's licking his hands. He's licking his hands like he just dipped those things in a vat of chocolate. He just, that's incredible. I'm going to end on that note. All right, everybody, have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you soon. Bye.